Hey everyone, and welcome to Vane's 11th devlog. As is usual, we're holding off on releasing a patch until we fix more bugs and get what we're working on here polished. But keeping everyone informed as to where the game's at is a priority for us. Let's get into it. The world's getting updated now that most of the design around fortifications and items are stable. The second town has started development, Miscellanea. Located to the east of Redford along the Miscellanea River, it's a bit smaller than Redford but has a few local businesses and civic centers, including but not limited to a public school, an archery shop, some hardware stores, and a church. It's sparsely forested, but we think it'll make a welcome addition as the first of many more areas in the Champlain Valley. Maple Mart has also received a couple updates. We've implemented functional food warmers and coffee machines. Propane lockers outside hold tanks of propane which can be filled from larger propane canisters or other gas sources. We've also started on electric vehicle chargers which, in our universe, can charge batteries, and air pumps which will play into vehicle maintenance. Some areas in Redford have also received a visual polish towards textures and weathering. We've added a Mosin Nagant rifle. As a common firearm found in the United States, it makes sense to be included in the game. Each melee weapon now has a different effect on your character's tiredness. Swinging a sledgehammer, for example, will cause you to quickly become tired, but swinging a spoon will not. On that note, we've also rebalanced how much weapons degrade with use. Flimsy or makeshift weapons tend to break far faster than metal objects or actual weapons. We found in playtesting that people were holding on to makeshift melee weapons like levelers or keyboards for far too long than what you'd expect if you smashed a plastic keyboard against a wall or a person. We've rebalanced stress so that radios and TV reduce character stress faster. We heard that many people found stress increased way too fast, so we'll see if this helps. In addition, antidepressants now treat stress. We've also rebalanced cooked food, such that it decreases hunger far more than uncooked food. We hope this motivates people to cook food more often, even if it's just meal prep. Oral antibiotics and sanitary fluids like isopropyl alcohol or soap can now be used to sanitize deep wounds and scratches. Azzy has added two entirely new tiers of fortifications. The first, reinforced wood, are reinforcements that, unlike the makeshift ones, look like they were made with someone with actual carpentry experience. The second, limestone brick, are fortifications built out of concrete. Reinforced wood supersedes makeshift wood, and brick supersedes reinforced wood. However, they're increasingly expensive to make in terms of the items required to build them. The fortification recipes and ingredients have all been rebalanced for consistency. As we get to more advanced crafting systems, we've added a buildable furnace station. This works just like furnaces in a lot of other survival games. You need to add fuel to the station and ignite it, which starts increasing the internal temperature. You can then add in items such as concrete paste, aluminum scrap, or iron scrap, then retrieve it when the furnace is cooled, or if you're wearing gloves. If you try and retrieve the results while they're still hot, you'll receive 4th degree burns. While we're on the topic of rebalancing, tool spawns in the world have been rebalanced as some players had problems finding very specific tools in the world that they needed for crafting or fortification. Saws can now cut trees. It's one of those things we probably should have thought of a lot sooner. We've increased the range that utility cabinets block zombie spawns, after some people on the Discord noted that they found zombies spawning way too close to their base. We've added 2 new vehicles for the patch so far. The first is an all-purpose SUV, which seats 4. The second is a box truck, with ample storage capacity and an interior. An item selection UI has been implemented to make it easier to use an item on something in the world. For example, if you wanted to attach a lock to a door, you would need to look at the door, open your inventory, find the item to attach, and use it from the inventory. Now, there's an option directly on the door to pick from compatible items and select it this way. This has been applied to using debit cards at ATMs, filling containers, etc. Trackers have been implemented. When switched on, these small items broadcast their location to you, whether they're in a vehicle, on a player, or in a container. Other players can steal them though, and have the tracker transmit to them instead. We're looking forward to how this might affect PvP and security. The default health of doors has been lowered. The reasoning behind this is because if we're adding multiple fortification tiers, we want to encourage players to fortify doors in defense of zombies and other players, instead of just leaving them as basic wooden ones. We've adjusted all props that are damageable in the world to support per damage type damage amounts. What this means is some fortifications or stations are resistant to some damage types, and some are weak to some damage types. For example, setting a wooden barricade on fire will cause it to damage faster than just hitting it with a weapon, whereas some upper tier fortifications will be completely resistant to melee damage and will require special tools to break. We've added a health indicator to furniture and fortifications in the world. This lets you see how fast something is being damaged, and around how much time it'll take to break it. Zombies can now sleep, and are woken when they sense you nearby. There are some more idle or aggressive zombie behaviors we'd like to implement, but we're currently lacking in zombie animations. You can now fill kitchen sinks. This was an oversight from when I first wrote the system. Some electrical, water, and gas systems will now be damageable. Prior to this, junction boxes were indestructible, and technically they still are, but we've added the ability to make them damaged. Players skilled in electrical will be able to repair them, but while damaged, they will prevent distribution of their resource. Containers that aren't player-owned or recently looted now respawn their contents in single player. Before, we had container respawning on multiplayer only, because we wanted to prevent abuse and excessive hoarding. Now it's on in single player as well. The main reason we've done this is because overall it helps with loot scarcity. As the world of Vayne ages, the loot that respawns will be worse and worse, so the scarcity effect still occurs over time. During testing, we found it's not been immersion breaking. However, we'll provide you with an option to turn it off if you want the most realistic experience. Water and rivers have been retooled. Water is now audible, something we'd not ever had, and visual underwater effects have been added. Being underwater now muffles all audio as well. We've rebalanced the skylighting in post-processing to make night more visible and to make the game look a bit less contrasted and dark. Finally, we've done a pass on blood effects on players and zombies to make their injuries look more realistic. We've added a warning to save games. If you try and load a save game from a different Vayne version, you'll get a warning asking you to confirm that that's really what you want to do. We don't stop you from trying, but at this early stage in development, save games break pretty often. We've made identical notifications stack. It's a simple quality of life thing, but helps a bit with decluttering the UI. We've started work on character consciousness. Some head damage, bleeding damage, and the ingestion of some items can alter the player's consciousness. Over time, consciousness regenerates. When their consciousness hits 0, they will fall unconscious and wake up once their consciousness is fully regenerated. Unconscious players can't take more consciousness damage to prevent abuse. Unconscious players function like normal players, except they turn into a ragdoll, can be carried or moved, etc. This is mostly meant as a PvP mechanic, but we'll see where it goes. It's currently not functional in-game. Finally, as always, plenty of bug fixes have been committed to the codebase. We've fixed items respawning in containers in player homes. We've also fixed destroyed furniture, like cardboard box piles, not saving their destroyed state. We've also fixed propane tanks and other explosive items not exploding properly after taking damage. There have been about 50 other bug fixes since 0.008, but most are too minor to mention. That about wraps it up for Devlog 11. We'll get the update out once this is all polished. There's still a bit of work to be done on Miscellanea, and some more polish and bug fixes we'd like to do, but apart from that, we're close. In the meantime, if you haven't wishlisted Vayne on Steam yet, please do so, and definitely join our Discord if you'd like to chat or follow along with development a bit closer. Links are in the description. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.